All right, my man, state your name. Let them know you on Real Talk with Nick.
My name's Keith Smith.
All right.
Twin brother over there, Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Born and raised in the Bronx.
All
Was
right.
involved with AAU high school basketball for 30 years, so kind of got a no idea what the.
Oh, you a Nick fan? I should have asked you that first.
Am I a Knick fan?
Yeah.
I'm homegrown, so I
Homegrown.
gotta support my Knicks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I'm an all-around basketball fan.
Okay. And being that the topic is on Nick discussion, when you speak of that, of Nick players, right?
Okay.
Let's start with the coach. How fond are you of Tom Thibodeau as a Nick coach?
As a Knick coach, well, I mean, he's an NBA coach. I respect all NBA coaches, right? But as a franchise overall, we want a winner. It's as simple as that.
You don't think he's that?
I'm sorry?
You don't think he's a winner?
He's won an NBA championship.
But some would say he got the players into the postseason twice. Some would say that. But 50 years waiting for a chip, some say that's not good enough.
Exactly.
So
I agree. I'm not going to bad talk the coach, right?
Right.
But I'm going to say had a pretty good team in Chicago. Didn't win. Teams in Minnesota, of course, someone on the rebuilding side. Didn't win. Came to New York. How long have you been here right now?
Well, I think it's his third year.
How long has he been here? I don't even know exactly how long he's been here.
As a Nick coach?
Yeah.
I say like going on his third season.
How many?
About 3 years.
Third year?
Yeah.
No, it's more than 3 years. Let's say it's 3 years.
I would like to say 3, no more than 4. But I'll say 3 because he got the Knicks to the postseason twice.
Okay, so let me look at this, right? And I know you're talking about Tiz, but I'm just going to talk about the whole franchise at this point, right? I'm looking at it like he ain't win anyway, as far as I'm concerned. You get to postseason, okay, but you always want to do better than you did the year before, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Right now, let's break down players.
All right. Let's start with Obi Toppin.
He's not here anymore.
How do you feel about that?
I thought that he was very athletic. I thought he was one of those kind of players that can change the game
Right.
by making one big play.
Right.
Gets the crowd excited, and you know your athletes draw from your crowd.
Right.
They draw the energy.
Right.
Okay? I wanted them to stay. I was,
Do you think it's a bad mistake they had let him go for 2?
Well, you can't say that. You gotta see what happens. Right?
Well, we know the situation with him and Randall. With Randall getting.
Look, see, now you're gonna mention Randall's name. Randall is the franchise player, right?
Okay.
He's the franchise player.
Right.
You ain't winning with your franchise player, what you gonna do? Right? If I'm not mistaken, you don't disrespect to Randall or nobody. But when you to the crowd, the home team fans,
Right.
basically tell them to kiss your ass. Right?
Right.
That's acceptable to you?
Nope, not to me.
All right, so that's my point with him.
But what do you say to those who say that it wasn't for Randall, the Knicks wouldn't have gotten so far as to the postseason
I don't agree with that.
versus the fans who say, what has Randall done in the postseason?
Look, he's a franchise player. All right. Let's look at every franchise player in the league and match him up next to those franchise players. You know what I'm saying? And you see how much of a quality player he is. Yeah, he made an all-star team. Do you like him as your franchise player?
No, I don't.
Okay. Now, ask me about another player.
Well, we was on Obi. That's how we got to Randall. Do you feel that Obi will haunt the Knicks when they meet up? Indiana Pacers versus the Knicks, Madison Square Garden. We let a lot of good players go.
And how much he plays and how much of a focal point that the Indiana Pacers make him. Right? He might be a role player. I don't think he really got the chance to be the type of player that, they say he is.
You don't
here
think
in
so?
New York. Nah, he ain't playing enough. He ain't playing enough. He was kind of like on the yo-yo, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where you bring a guy in, no disrespect, with the number 3 pick in the NBA draft, and you haven't made an all-star team yet. You coming in the NBA, and you're the number 3 pick, you're supposed to be or the stud, if you will. Yeah?
I agree.
So let's look at that.
But that's no fault to him. Who you put the blame on?
I'm not blaming nothing or nobody. I'm just showing, making points.
Okay.
If you coming in 1, 2, or 3 pick, you should be stud status. You should be making the all-star team every year. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Number 1, 2, or 3 picks in the league. That says a lot about you as a player. And if you don't live up to that, you know what I'm saying?
All right. We'll switch it up a little, man. Who's the greatest Knick point guard you ever seen play the game?
Oh, man. I love Walt Frazier. I go back that far. I love Walt Frazier. I think Walt Frazier was the greatest Knick point guard that we ever had. Now, behind him, you could probably say Mark because as an assist man. But Walt Frazier played offense and defense. He was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put Jalen Brunson in that discussion of Walt Frazier and Mark Jackson? You act like that's a dumb question, man.
Come on, man. That's no comparison right now.
At all? Some got Jalen Brunson over Mark Jackson.
You could put him over Mark Jackson. But how many years has Jalen Brunson been here? How many years has he been here? What has he really done? I like Jalen Brunson, okay?
What you like about his game?
Well,
Let's start there.
Well, he knows how to win. I'm going to give him that, right? And he showed that in Villanova. And he knows how to run your ball club. But he shouldn't have to score 30 points a night. That was an Allen Iverson type of player. You know what I'm saying? He's not that type of player, right? And I'm hoping that they don't depend on him to get 30 every night because here come playoff time, he's going to be burnt out. So you got to have guys that he could get the ball to that's going to put it in the hoop to take some of that pressure off of him because your point guard is handling the ball. They running the show. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't put there's no way I can put in 1 or 2 years Jalen Brunson over guys that has been here, you know what I'm saying, 10 years, if you will, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Walt Frazier, hands down. I don't know if you're going to get another point guard that's going to come along that was better than Walt Frazier as a Knick point guard. No, nobody. In fact, for me, Walt Frazier is one of the top 5 Knicks we ever had. You kidding? Come on, man. That discussion we shouldn't even be having right now with that one.
And you say that even over Earl Pearl when it comes to Clyde?
Earl Pearl wasn't a point guard.
He was a shooting,
He was a scoring guard. He was a scoring guard, right?
Okay, I know they matched up,
together,
but they matched up.
Them two together, one of the greatest backcourts ever, bar none. One of the greatest backcourts ever. So, you have some out there that was, incredible. You know what I'm saying? But those two are my favorite 2 guards for the Knicks, even though the Pearl wasn't, come up through the Knicks system. But when he came, putting them 2 together when they thought it wouldn't work, yeah, surprised a lot of people. Remember that? Because they used to battle each other all the time.
Yeah, and Clyde Frazier said it himself. He used to have nightmares.
Oh yeah, well,
because he couldn't deal with that spinner move.
He probably gave the Pearl probably gave Clyde more problems than any other guard he ever played against. Probably. But everything could be somewhat of an argument there. But when you put those 2 together, that said it.
Now I want to talk about Knick era of basketball. You had the Red Holzman area, which we're talking about now, with Clyde when he won the championship. Then you had an era with Patrick Ewing on the Pat Riley. At that point in the time, when the Knicks was playing under the Pat Riley leadership, was you optimistic, man. Listen, I'm gonna get right to the point. Shouldn't Patrick Ewing have a ring, man?
Don't.
What was wrong, man? What the Knicks didn't have, man? Because I feel like we appreciate the Knicks under Pat Riley more than we did at the time when it was actually playing.
Couldn't beat Mike. I'm saying Mike was on the hill, man. Nobody could knock Mike off the hill. That's what it was. During those years, the Pat Riley years, that was the Mike years. Not only couldn't the Knicks beat Mike, nobody could beat Mike. You know what I'm saying? So that's what stopped Pat from getting the ring, Mike.
So if Mike wasn't on the Bulls.
Yeah, but that's if it's a myth.
Yeah, we all be drunk, right? If was a fifth.
You know what I'm saying? And they got to the finals, and if I think that year Mike wasn't playing when they got there and they lost to was it San Antonio or was it Houston? San Antonio, right? Yeah. When they lost, when John Stark shot 3 for 18 or something like that in that game.
Yeah.
That was their championship that year. You know what I mean? But they got away. It happens. You know. Pat Riley stuck with them. You know, shoot is shoot. Maybe you shoot out of it, but it didn't happen. You know.
But even then, you had them Knicks being a better unit than the Knicks we see today?
Well, I think that you know, during that time, the Knicks had the type of players that you really don't see that much during this era of basketball. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had, like, remember the Pistons, the bad boys? They had, like, guys, tough fellas that's going to beat you down.
Right.
We don't have those kind of players here. You know what I'm saying? But we had that then. You know what I'm saying? Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason. You coming down the middle, you're going to be on the floor. You know what I'm saying? That's how basketball was back in those years. You know what I'm saying? Before Mike won, he got beat up every game.
By the Pistons.
He got beat up. Those same bad boys. He got beat up, right? Then, of course, when the weight one got much stronger, and then he got to a point where he could do the beating up if he had to. You know what I'm saying? But back in those days, man, you know, the Knicks was like, you ain't want to play the Knicks. Because you know there's going to be some punishment. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you come down that middle. You're going to lay down on the floor. You're going to the floor. Ain't no easy buckets.
Do you think that part of the game is missing? When we speak of
toughness or in general?
In general.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're not playing like that, right? It's Showtime basketball and up and down, and, you know, the defense is different. You know, people don't defend the way they did. You know, everything's about scoring and the dunking these days. And
that's
excitement, though.
That was a general statement you gave me when you answered the question when I said about toughness in the NBA as a whole. You say, yeah. Now I want to speak specifically about the Knicks organization. Think there's a problem with that too when we speak of toughness?
Well, the players we have now are not like the players, you know, we had before in those eras. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody you seen guys go coast to coast and get layups without getting touched. That wasn't happening back then. Say you couldn't get a rebound and just go coast to coast. You can do that. You can do that now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and we got guys that should be putting the hammer down if you come down the middle. As big as Randall is, he should. I know Opie probably would have done that too. You know, they got a couple of big kids, you know, Robinson. They're not those type of players, you know what I'm saying?
Is that costing us a chip?
Well, you know, I'm looking at it like it's the talent level. That's what's costing us the chip, the talent level. You know what I mean? We're not what you call an upper echelon team right now. We're not. And the seats are full. We're going to be competitive. We still ain't winning. We're going to be competitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to get to that upper echelon status. And in the East, Milwaukee, Boston, the teams that, you know, that are there year after year. You know what I mean? Milwaukee done came up. When they got Giannis, they done came up.
All right, and this is my last question to you, OG. The future of RJ Barrett, man. Is he a promising talent, man? Is he a disappointment to you, man? When you speak of that R.J. Barrett.
I said the third pick in the NBA draft, you're supposed to be a stud. I said that.
Oh, okay.
I said that. You're supposed to be one of the premier players in the league. Supposed to make the All-Star team every year. You should be. You're supposed to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. One night you're going to get 25. The next night, disappear, if you will. I don't know. You know,
did you see him play against the Cavaliers in the postseason? You don't think he was the closeout for that series, man?
Okay, this is going to be his 4th year coming up?
I'll say about that.
Let's see what happens. Hello? Let's see what happens. Is he going to take that step and be that perennial all-star this year? That he should have been the year, at least the second year, third year, right? It's going to be even hard for him to make an all-star team unless he's averaging 25 points a game.
So this is the magical question. I will ask you, how long does it take a player to develop in the NBA? When did you start questioning your...
Well, I mean, that question for me is like, when you come into the NBA, you should be NBA ready. There shouldn't be no development. You shouldn't have to develop. Your game should be NBA ready.
Man. You got players who got 10 years in the league, man.
And
so what? You come in, I mean, you don't think the college ball is...
1, 2, 3 pick? 1, 2, 3 pick? If you ain't NBA ready, you shouldn't be a 1, 2, 3 pick. Like I said, you coming in, you supposed to be a stud. Derrick Rose was the number 1 pick. Guess what happened? He won the MVP of the league. Allen Iverson was the number 1 pick. Guess what happened? He won the MVP in the league. Magic Johnson was the number 1 pick. Guess what happened? He won the MVP in the league. So that's what we talking about, right? 1, 2, 3. Those top 3 picks, man, supposed to be studs, man. Look at all of one number 1, 2, and 3 picks. And look at that. What number was Mike? Mike was a 3 pick. Mike was a 3rd pick in the NBA draft. Okay? Remember, Sam Bowie, I think, went before him. I mean, come on. Studs. We're talking about these studs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
With that kid, the kid in Minnesota. And Edwards, the kid's a stud, man. He's stud. That's how R.J. Barrett supposed to be. Animal style, you know what I'm saying? Can't unstoppable at will at times, you know what I mean? That's how he's supposed to be. I'm not talking about just jump shot. I'm talking about taking people off the dribble and going to the rack and banging it at will. The athleticism and all that.
You know, like an Andrew Wiggins.
Wiggins, I like Wiggins. I think Wiggins is athletic. Wiggins really came out of the show when he got with the Warriors.
But would you compare RJ to a Wiggins? Because there was even requesting, that was once a topic of discussion.
Well, and a lot has to do with the situation that you're in. Right? What situation you're in. Wiggins went to a championship caliber team and they put him in there and he excelled in his role. Okay? So that gives Wiggins got a ring. And he was a big part in them winning that ring when they got it. So, you know. I mean, us winning the ring, man, I don't know, man. Not know what we got. I can't see it. I'm sorry. No, we still like 2, 3, 4 players away, man. I kid you not.
And that's what it is, man.
It's the truth.
I got my OG on Real Talk with Nick. We in the Hall of Harlem, man. Shout out your name again before we sign off.
Keith Smith.
All right.
Kevin Smith. Peace.
And we out.